Hi everyone, welcome back to the Book Vandal Shop. Today we're going to do a little project with the kitties Halloween digitals using a paper bag. So anyway, again, I am in my brand new shop, so this will be my first project done out here in the new shop. So I'm really excited about that and really excited to share that with all of you. And I'll have a tour of my new shop coming really soon. So, and then also let me know in the comments below what you think of this style of recording. I'm hoping this will help with sound and audio issues, as well as staying in frame and being able to watch what I'm doing and make sure that it looks the way I want it to. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. So let's get started. This was done with a paper bag like this, just a little standard paper bag with handles. You could get bags like this at the dollar store. This one, this one was from an aunt who gave me a birthday present in it. This one, I think, I purchased a candle that they wrapped and put in that little bag. So I didn't have to buy bags. It is, let me grab a ruler. It is about, ignore the numbers on the bag there, that was from something else. The bag is about 5.5 inches wide. It is about an 8-inch tall bag. So that gives you any idea. And I'm going to be using my Kitty's Halloween digital kit. And, I should probably show you the project first, huh? So here's the front cover. I've put a little button here on some burlap. Fussy cut out the little kitty here. Got a little card here in the front pocket. Open it up. And the idea behind this is I was going for more of a, almost like a grandma's brag book. You know, that used to be a thing. Kind of going for a grandma's brag book more than a journal. So a place to put some pictures in of the kids and their Halloween costumes. Do a little bit of journaling in it. There's a little pocket here with a tag. Again, a place to write, or you tuck a small picture in there. I did include some places to write, although you could, just fill the whole thing up with pictures right over the top of that if you wanted to. Okay, and then back here in the back, you've got a pocket that you could put lots of other pictures in, as well as there's a couple of journaling cards in here. In the back, we have the kitty peeking up in the back. So the pages I made using black cardstock. I think, I'm not absolutely certain. I'm not sure if this is 80-pound cardstock. It's at least 65-pound cardstock. I'm not sure what that translates into GSM for those not in the US, but it is a pretty stiff cardstock. So I went with that rather than paper pages because, the idea is to mount pictures on this. So the stitches, those are just fake stitches. I did those with a black Sharpie, a fine point Sharpie marker. And really, I didn't want a lot of dimension in this because I wanted it to lay flat. And really the only dimension there is a little bit of sari silk here on the tag, which you wouldn't have to include. And then the handles in the bag themselves add some bumpiness back there in the back, but really it's not too bad. So let's get started. I'm going to keep him right here in view so we can look back at that as we want to. So when you fold up your bag, the bottom part here is going to be one direction or the other. You could fold your bag this way and have that be on the inside. But if you are going to use it for a tuck, it will be hard to get to, when you have your pages on the inside, it'll be hard to get to that little tuck. That's up to you. To get around that, fold your bag the opposite way. okay? So that that side is that way, this side is this way, okay? And then that way you've got your little tuck spot over here. It's not a very big tuck spot. I mean, it's going to be pretty narrow, but you could put something there if you want to. Or you don't have to worry about it at all. Okay, my bag this time happens to be white. Last time it was a brown. So I think I am going to go ahead and ink up the edges of my bag just because I don't really want the stark whiteness. And then I'll come right back. I'm not going to make you watch me do inking. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm all inked up now. I did not do a lot on the inside creases, just a little bit, real subtle, just enough to, you know, knock some of the shine off of it. Okay, and on the front, I have Kitty here. He originally comes printed like this. And I think I probably could have gotten away with cutting off right here under the pumpkin part and getting that to fit. But I kind of liked the dimension. So fussy cutting around him and then inking it allowed me to kind of make him pop from the background just a little bit more. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and finish cutting him out. I'll do that off camera here. I'm just going to cut around that. Also, and I'm not sure why I didn't. I should have included a blank one of these in the kit, but I didn't. But I want some more of this paper to use in the journal like I did here as photo mats. So instead of printing this at the size that it's supposed to be printed at, the traveler's notebook size, which prints like this, I kept the button checked for fit to screen or print to screen size, whatever it is. It, you know, if you toggle that check mark off and on, you'll get the traveler notebook size or it fills the page. So I had it go ahead and fill the page, and that gives me just a little bit more of this type of paper that I can use in my journal. Real soon in another video, I will show you some tips and tricks on printing your digitals out, different settings to do on your computer, different ways you can print as far as size goes to kind of fit your needs, especially when something's horizontal and you want it to be vertical. Okay, so I'm going to use some of this paper here to put on my front and back covers. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just cut it slightly smaller than my two surfaces here that I want to put it on. On this journal or little photo book here, I did go ahead and put a small strip. I don't know if you can see. It's maybe only about this wide inside there that I glued here, just so I wouldn't have a plain edge over here. So I am going to go ahead and cut my pieces out off camera and come back. You guys can go ahead and do the same if you are creating one with me. So you'll want a plain solid piece for the front cover and one for the back cover and a little one here on the inside if you're going to do that. And I'm going to fussy cut out my kitty cat. All right, be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to glue these down, my panels, and normally I like to use Fabri-Tac or a 3-in-1 from Beacon in my Papercrafting, just because it's a really good permanent glue that doesn't wrinkle my paper. But for time constraints, I'm going to use my ATG gun here. It's fast. It does hold things, but I'm not really sure about the longevity of the adhesive. You know, they say it says it's permanent, but I have some scrapbooks that I did before that seem to have things popping off of them. But this is just for video purposes. I don't plan really on doing anything with this little project here. I don't have kids that trick or treat anymore. I guess I could put some kind of fall memories in it. Okay, so see what I did there? I just put a little strip here, and that way it just kind of finishes the look out. And then I'm just going to run a little bit of glue down each side. Oops, went a little bit too far. That's my little glue eraser. I think that's what it's called. Judy from Judy P's Crafty Journeys, she gave me this. It's a really rubbery thing, but Fabri-Tac and other glues, when you get them, when they seep out, if you just rub that on there, it takes it right off. Okay, now for our kitty cat. And I printed, I printed that one page oversized so I could have more of this background. I didn't cut him out. I cut out the kitty from the normal traveler notebook size print off. Okay, and then I'm going to put my panel here on the back. Oops. Oh, I may have to switch to Fabri-Tac. That one's out of glue now. Out of tape. Should have checked that. All right, Fabri-Tac it is. We may have to do most of our gluing off camera then, so that way I'm not eating up time with squeezing the glue bottle. I keep checking to see if I'm still in frame. I think I like this style of filming just because it's easier for me to keep an eye on whether or not I'm in frame or not in frame. But you guys let me know, because it's not all about me. Okay, now the Happy Halloween that I put on Mr. Kitty here came from the page of tags. Well, where is it at? Here it is. Came from the page of tags, and I cut out just the Happy Halloween, but I was careful about going around the little boy there because I'm gonna use him also. Set that off to the side. Okay, and then I just inked that up and glued it right there. And then the next thing I did was I cut a little piece of burlap, and I took a button, and I actually had some strings from the burlap where I kind of frayed it out, and I took one of the strings and thread it through one of the buttonholes, and then I took my burlap and kind of made myself a bigger hole there to get my string in. Just like that. And then, I totally could have got out a needle and thread and sewn it with a needle and thread, but that's just not me, is it? We got to do everything the harder way. Okay. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. All right, I'm going to do this just because it's mine and it's not for sale. But, lick your thread before you put it in like Mama would have. Okay. And put put this one through, and then I tied it. And I'm just going to quit piddling with that on camera. You don't want to watch me do that. But I tied it to my burlap. You could use a needle and thread. I'm going to finish that, and then I'm going to glue that right on there. So I'm just going to glue these up. I'll come right back. Maybe. How do I pause? Let's try. Okay, so, you know, I got the button right on there. As soon as I paused the camera, I was able to get it right on there without any problem. Imagine that. So the next thing I want to do now is get my pages ready to go inside. That way we can decorate them. So like I said, I just used plain black heavy cardstock so that it's nice and stiff to mount pictures to. And you just want to measure, you know, so that you're a little bit smaller on each side and a little bit smaller than your top and your bottom. And also what I did was I measured the first one and cut it. And then I got the height for my other 2 pages first. And then I ran the second page. I folded it, put it inside there. And then I ran it through the paper trimmer. That way it stayed the same width. Put your third one in, and you know, normally it would stick out a little bit. Okay. And then run it through the paper trimmer to trim off the edge a little bit again. So that way when they're all nested inside of each other, they stayed nice and flat. It doesn't matter. It's just the look I was going for at the time. I am also choosing, ooh, that's probably really loud. Also choosing to round my corners. You don't have to do that. And I only went with 3 little page sets, okay? Which makes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, yeah, 12. Makes 12 sides, okay? Because anything more than that, by the time you glue pictures on there and maybe put some mementos in, I was afraid it would just be too thick. So that's the page count I went with. And I'm just going to do a simple 3-hole pamphlet stitch in here. And I'm also just going to punch it by eye. I'm using my Tim Holtz handy dandy little poker tool. I love this thing. I use it for weeding on my vinyl, my Cricut vinyl stuff. It makes a great little weeding tool. I don't know why those aren't lining up well, but that's okay. Again, I'm not really going to probably do anything with this project. Just making it to have fun with you guys. Okay, and we'll go about right there. Okay, I'm going to use some yellow embroidery string, and normally I do not use this for binding my big books, just because it is a cotton thread, and it does, you know, it does break down over time and do what we call dry rot or age and get brittle over time. But I'm just sewing in 3 little sheets of paper. I don't think it's going to fall apart too easily on that. Find my needle here, and I won't have any troubles threading it because I have my bifocals now. That way I can see out of the top, and then I can see out of the bottom all my close-up stuff. So I'm going to go in from the back. You could go in from the front, wherever you want your strings. I put my strings on the outside of this one because I thought maybe I might end up putting some little dangles on it. I guess I could put dangles on the inside too, couldn't I? Well, we'll do it that way. I'll do it from the inside. And back in this hole. And back through this one, being careful not to go through the thread. And back back through this one. Okay, you could also staple these if you've got a stapler that'll reach in there. My thought was kind of that sometimes staples make the fold too stiff, and I was afraid it wouldn't lay very flat or open very wide. You know, it wouldn't have the freedom when opening and closing as much as it would with a pamphlet stitch. So totally up to you though. Okay, and just a nice little neat double knot. Save that string for later. Okay, so now we have our pages, and they are nice and stiff. And then another idea that you could do would be to put the page tabs that come with the kit. You could put those on each page if you wanted to. I didn't, but those are there. Okay, so the very first page I did was the green background. Here's a little bit left over. And I just cut a little mat, a little bit smaller than the page, rounded the corners, okay? And I took my Sharpie and I went around and did a little fake stitch and glued it to the page. On this side, I just mounted some green paper over there. And the little boy, I cut him from, let me see, I think I cut him from the tag. Yes, I did. So where we cut out the Happy Halloween, I cut out around the little boy and glued him on there. So I'll do that off camera and I'll come right back. Okay. So I've put the little boy on there and that green panel, and now I'm just going to quickly take my black Sharpie and I just want to make some faux stitch marks. They don't have to be perfect. Just making some little dashed lines, some longer than others. It really mimics more like a hand stitching more than machine stitching. I just think it adds a little special touch. Oh, and while I was off camera, I found a refill for my ATG gun. So that will make things go a little faster and less stinky. As much as I like the Fabri-Tac, it does stink. Okay. Then on the next page, and I went ahead and did that while I was off camera, I took some more of that paper from the cover page and made 2 photo mats. And then now on the next page, what I used there was, I believe it was this one. Yes, this page. Let's see. I have a candle going over here. Don't want to burn the shed down. Burn down my shed. What's that commercial? Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl. Somebody done burn down my she shed. Nobody burned down your she shed, Cheryl. If you haven't seen that commercial and you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, but it's funny. But yeah, I don't want to burn down my she shed. Let's see. Pencil. I'm just going to mark over here the width. And I'm going to keep her, so I'm not going to waste that. She's going to go over here on this side. And I don't want to decapitate her because I really want to keep her. And I don't need it to go too far down because I made a pocket there. So I think right about, I'm going to fussy cut her out anyway, so that is pretty good. Okay, I'm going to set her to the side over here. Now fussy cut her out for that side. And then I need to round this corner. Okay. Yep. And then that will, I'm measuring on the wrong book, but they were the same size. And then the pocket here was made with some leftover paper. And let's see. Oh, and then on this half of the page, this little card right here is what I had cut out and put here in the front because it was nice and narrow. So that's what I used for that. And the little kitty here, he is actually the one on the back side of the book back there. Okay, so now I need my pocket. Switch these around. And I want to make sure that I'm the same width as my backer paper. I want my pocket to be the same width. It doesn't have to be, but I just want it to be. Okay, and if I put that there, then my pocket, oh, I don't know, about a little more than a third of the way up, little less than half. Cut that down. Yep, that'll go like that. I'm going to round this bottom corner right over here. Oh, they're over here. Oh, almost cut the wrong corner, didn't I? Okay, that one there. And then I'm going to use my circle punch. And I'm only going to put it part of the way in so I can make a little notch. That punch is getting dull again, I can see. There we are. So I'm going to ink this up and glue it down. I'm going to ink this up and I'm going to draw some faux stitches. On mine, I only did the faux stitches here on the side and the bottom and up, not across the top, because it would have been like that's how the pocket was sewn on. Okay, and then remember when you glue it on to only glue down the sides and the bottom, like where you put your fake stitch lines at. Okay, I'm going to ink those and glue them on off camera. I'm also going to fussy cut around her and ink her and glue her over here. And then one more thing, over here on my trick or treat tag, that's what I used for the words. So I am going to cut that out into a nice little square and round the corners, ink it up, and glue that on as well. So I'll do that right off camera and I'll be right back. Okay. So I've glued that there. I went a little higher this time with it. And then when I fussy cut her out, I left this and then rounded the corner. I don't know. The first time I cut the kitty out separately from her and then just glued them both on there. But I was kind of thinking that if I just put some glue here on the bottom and then some glue just going up the side and not on her. Sorry, I'm kind of turning this direction so I can see I have so much stuff on the counter. I want to make sure I'm in frame. That if I glued it on like that and left it, let me find a piece of paper. You could take a photograph if you wanted to and tuck that behind her. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, or you can glue her down. Whatever. Okay. Next. The next page was, let's see, this one. Let's see. And I trimmed it to the edge of her cloak over here. And then I trimmed off the bottom. My printer prints borderless, but when you print traveler notebook size, you're not going to get borderless. And I was reading online, something maybe we'll address in our printing digitals video that I'll try to do soon. But I was reading online that printing borderless actually shortens the lifespan of your printer. I did not know that. Okay, so that's how I did that. And then that way I was able to get my height. And I cut my height next. So let me mark, make sure I'm in frame. I am. Okay. That is quite handy, being able to glance over at the computer instead of having to stand up and look at my computer. I mean, my camera. Okay. And I've got my height. Okay. And I wanted it to look seamless across the page. So that's what I'm doing here. That's why I'm measuring it in this way. Okay. And my fold is here. So I'm going to go just on this side of my fold and mark it. And cut it. And so that side, that will go on that side. And then here's what I just cut off. And so this time I'm going to start measuring from the center and go out. And let me slide that down. And we'll go to about over there. And round my corners. And then I have a nice little seamless look. See? Okay, so those would get inked up and glued on. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm not even going to do that off camera. You know how to do that. Okay, the next page was more photo mats. And again, you know how to do that. So I just did the same like I had done earlier. So I'm not going to do that on camera. And then the next one was the little boy page, which looks like this. And I did this, I cut this the same way we just cut this one, okay? So trim off your white border, okay? Round the corner, mark your height, cut your height off, okay? And then cut here, and then go over here and mark this side and cut it off. So that way you have a nice seamless page. But if you cut your height all the way across, then you know for certain that they're both going to be the same height. Okay, so that's what that page is. The last page was some leftover green that I had, and then the girl was off of one of the tags. So I just cut her out and glued her there. Okay. The kitty cat and on the pumpkin tag, he is what I had in our pocket. Okay. So that uses up your tags, and then you've got some tabs there if you want to add tabs. Okay. And then the only other thing I added in this was the journaling cards here in the back. And those are on with this, and that is actually the only thing I used off of this page in this project. So, you know, if you don't want to waste ink and paper and just to print some journaling cards, then another idea that you could do would just be to cut some of your plain black cardstock into photo mat sizes and put them in here to be able to mount extra photos to them. So that's the idea with that. And then the leftover kitty on the back, remember he was from let's find him. Kitty, 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 kitty. Well, yeah. I don't know where he is at the moment. But anyway, he was left over off of one of our pages, remember? So I just cut him out and put him there peeking up. So that is our little photo book and the basic construction on how to put that together. And I hope you've enjoyed that project. And again, let me know if you like this style of filming. If you don't, let me know that too, and then that way I can kind of decide how we're going to do things in the future from now on. So if you make one of these, let me know. I'd really like to see it. Tag me on Instagram or tag me on Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have actually been looking at my statistics, and over 50% of you that watch my channel on a regular basis are not subscribed to me. Go figure. All right. So anyway, when I hit that big 20,000, I will be doing a huge giveaway with multiple prizes and multiple winners. So I think there's like 700 to go, something like that. But anyway, when we get there. All right. See you guys really soon. Take care. Bye.